Hello friends, and thank you for visiting my YouTube channel today. A little word about this video. I have spliced together several videos that I posted online, and I have come back to this exercise, and so I pulled them all together in one video, and I hope you will enjoy it. Thanks. Okay, today I'm experimenting with some texture. I had a friend over who was using her saw, and of course sawdust went everywhere. So I was thinking that just might create some nice texture on my canvas for painting. So that's what I'm experimenting with today. I tried to find some golden polymer gel, which I understand is good for pouring, but I could not find it in the store or online that was immediately accessible. So I'm going to be using just regular gesso, not stirring it up a lot because I don't want to have too many bubbles, but I just have this Cool Whip bowl that I'm going to be using to mix it up in, and I think I'm going to begin by just putting a little bit in my bowl. Now, if you don't have access to sawdust, I'm sure you probably have a friend who would love for you to come and clean up his workshop. And I'm not going to experiment too much with color at this point till I find out whether I'm going to get this to stick or not. So, the nice thing about mixed medium is that you can do just about anything that you can get away with. And if it works, good. If it doesn't, that's okay too. I have speeded up parts of this video for obvious reasons. This is a tedious process, and especially tedious because I didn't know exactly what I was doing. But just hang in there with me, and hopefully parts of this you'll be able to use for your own abstract or mixed media painting. Hello friends. I suspected, because I'm working outside today, that the construction going on down the street might be a hindrance. But I've got some pretty birds in the background and some not so pretty bird sounds. And so today I'm going to be adding color, experimenting with mixtures and application of different colors, at the same time trying to concentrate on my composition. Now, having said that, I'm just doing what I was doing in part one, which was experimenting. Some of these things may not work. The best thing about videotaping as I paint is that I can go back and not only look at my work with a new perspective, but in this case I can look at how I'm working, and I can look at the places where I actually should have slowed down, paid a little more attention, backed up, looked at what I was doing. And so this is just one of the many lessons in this videotape that I hope, if you haven't learned that lesson already, that you will heed my advice. Well, I think I should have stopped here, but that's part of the problem with experimenting and not taking the time to stand back and look at what I'm doing and decide whether I really like it or not. But many more hours were spent on this little work, so you know, it's just one of those things. As I begin this session, I'm aware that some of my gesso was entirely too thick and has made some unusual cracks. I'm not worried about that because this is, after all, a textured painting. I would not have any qualms about leaving it, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. What I'm going to do is try to do some corrections in the painting. Now, one of the things that I was trying to accomplish with this painting was using my paint to pour on the canvas. But I've learned since then that art pouring is actually a sort of new wave in abstract painting, especially. That's not what I'm after in this painting. I was only anticipating the liquidity of my paint and to make it flow onto the canvas. That's not working here because there's just too much texture in this painting. And quite frankly, it is so busy, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to salvage it as it is. But in this portion of the video, I'm going to make a valiant attempt to make that happen. So watch as I continue to experiment with this painting. As you can see, if you didn't know this already, the creative process is one that can be time-consuming and complicated at best. But the wonderful thing about being creative is that I can start it and stop it whenever I want to, and I can control it for the most part. So I encourage you, if you're not already exercising your creative urges, that you will take something away from this video and realize that you can do what you want to do within your own with your own scheme of things. And it really doesn't take a lot of money to do art. It can, but it's such an enjoyable process. But it is frustrating, I will tell you that. As evidenced by this particular painting, especially where I finally went with it. But it's so satisfying when I get to that point where I realize that what I have is pleasing. And I will frame it and hang it on my wall. I'll put it in my exhibit in June. No one else wants it. I will certainly bring it back home and hang it on my own wall because I like it. The reason I pulled this painting out to begin with was because I had gotten so utterly frustrated with a painting that I was trying to complete. And I always have this sense that I have to finish what I started. But as evidenced by this painting, I can always put it away, go back, pick it up later. So I hope you're enjoying watching this video and watching the progress. And thanks for watching and hanging in there with me. Hello friends, I'm back today with a painting that I actually worked on quite a while ago, and hopefully I've been able to add the videos that I did previously to this one. I put this away for a while because I just ran out of things to do that I thought were going to be a pleasing composition. But then when I got some new metallic paints, I decided I would go back and work a little bit more on this. And since the initial working time, I have added this crocheted chain here, because this composition, when it was still white, seemed to me to indicate a little bouquet, and so that's what I've settled on finally. This painting is made up of wood shavings, some sawdust, some paper, tissue paper, and just some squiggles with the paint bottle, and lots of different kinds of paint. I used interference paints initially, but then I've added the metallic paints to it. And so I thought this needs some variety. I had too many little specks of things, so I added the leaves, which came from a silk plant, and then I added broom straw to give me a little interest and a little variation in the overall direction that the painting seemed to want to go. So before I call this finished, I'm going to be adding a little bit of metallic gold over the top, but not excessively, just to kind of highlight different areas. But the blue paints that you see are metallic. Most of the pinks and purples are metallic paints, and then there are some flat acrylic paints as well. Those are the ones I'm going to concentrate on just brightening up a little bit. So stay tuned and I will show you the end result. A little note here about using rubber gloves, which I did in this particular painting because I wasn't quite sure about the metallic paints. And I'm not a scientist, but I do know there are some things that are not good to put on your skin, so just a note of caution here. At a certain point in this long process, I did use my sander to sand off the points on the wood shavings as they were hindering the addition of paints. I have decided that not only is framing going to be a sensitive issue, but the place I hang this painting is also going to be important, as too much light is going to affect the visual aspect of the painting. This has been a fun project, and I think I've learned a lot of things, and I hope you have too. And I hope you will come back to my YouTube channel and that you will like, comment, share, and then certainly subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for visiting, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Thank you. Happy experimenting.